Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah.
Alright, mate. It's actually the same guy that delivers all my FedEx parcels.
Oh.
Let's see what has arrived. I hope it's everything. It could be everything. We're gonna head down now, get some shots around Bondi. Has started a new company. I've been out taking photos for his Leaf and Peace CBD oil business. I told him I'd get down and do a bit of a product shoot. I took the bottles down to the beach. The sunrise was absolutely beautiful, beach in the background. I'll edit these up for him so he can post them on his Instagram. I will be editing those photos later. Then I'll be jumping on this laptop. I'll be doing my day-to-day corporate work here. I usually just set myself up in the dining room, kitchen. This is where I kind of work from during the day. It's a 9 to 5, not based in an office. It's working from home, which is great. It gives me so much flexibility. 20 past 8 in the morning. I've been out since about 6, so I've had 2 hours where I've been able to go out for a walk, have a coffee, do a product photo shoot, come back, edit some photos, then I can jump straight on to the other laptop, get some emails done. Alright guys, so let's jump into Lightroom and Photoshop. I'll run you through the editing process. Generally, whenever I edit my photos, I always like to match the photos, in accordance to how my feed's kind of looking at the time, color, palette, the main tones that I'm using. And let's have a look at Leaf and Peace's Instagram. Very, very high saturation on the photos, bit of color popping. So these are the photos I took down Bondi Beach, and I want to match them with this color feed here. For example, this one here, quite highly saturated. It's not the way I would usually edit a photo, but whenever I'm editing these, I want to make sure that I'm matching the photos that I'm editing to the client's feed. Let's match up this photo here, the Bondi Skate Park photo, to the Belfast City Castle here on the Instagram feed. See if we can get the colors matching, get the skies matching. Yeah, get a bit of a color pop. And you can see on the right hand side here that I shoot JPEG, but also if you scroll down, I'll shoot RAW. The RAW file's got a lot more data in it. I like to shoot my photos underexposed, so whenever it comes to processing, I can pull out the detail back in those shadows, and it means all my highlights are perfectly exposed for us, just to make sure that you've got that good dynamic range in your shot. You can see here, the clouds here, any highlights, they're not blown out, but the shadows look a bit dark, hands a bit dark, the bottle's a bit dark. I highlight my photos, filter them back, so you've got your RAW and your JPEG, and then I just go and grab each of the RAW images. Bring these into Lightroom first of all. So we'll import the files. But guys, when I'm doing this, there's no right and wrong way to edit your photos. Even the way I organize them might be different to how you do it. Straight up, this photo is definitely underexposed, so I want to bring up the exposure of the image. Now when you do that, your highlights will start to become blown out, so I like to pull back the detail in the highlights. So it's starting to look a little bit better. Shadows, maybe bring them up a touch. There's the backspace button on the keypad that you can kind of jump between the original and your current state of the photo. But let's have a look. It looks a bit warm, so I'll maybe bring the white balance down. That looks a bit better, a bit bluer. So what I'll do is I'll go down to this tone curve and I'll put on a medium contrast. Brings the shadows darker, lifts the highlights a little bit. Now you've got your vibrance and your saturation. I don't like things to be too saturated, but because we're matching the feed of Leaf and Peace, it's got it beside me here, so I usually have a reference photo. It is quite saturated, so let's bring up the vibrance. I'll play with the individual colors on the HSL slider, and you see you've got your hue, saturation, and luminance. So these guys I usually just play around with. So for example, the blues there, I want to match the blues to the Leaf and Peace. So bring them, desaturate them a little bit, and bring them a bit more of an aqua tone, which is how they've got them here on the Belfast Castle. For me, whenever I'm editing a new photo, I've got my workflow for my Instagram, so I'm pretty used to how I edit, but it's always good to edit something different, trying to match other colors and other color feed challenges you when you're, trying to get those images matched up. I actually liking how this looks. So now that I've adjusted the light and the colors, what I do is hit Command and Enter. Automatically opens your current edit into Photoshop. Photoshop allows you to get a bit more
granular with how you edit your photo. So what I do first is Shift Option Command N, Shift Option Command E, and that brings you a new layer. It gives you a bit more flexibility when you come to edit your photo. You can build layers on top of each other. Say for example, this layer was, you know, highlight adjustments. Then your next layer could be shadow adjustments, and you can actually see your photo adjustments layer by layer as you build up through the photo. Create my layer, and then I will start working on the photo. Let's say for example, I wanted to make these clouds, you know, stand out a bit brighter, a bit wider. So I'd go over here to the dodge tool, select for highlights, and then your exposure. You don't want to go too heavy. So then I'll go into the clouds, and you can see them kind of just brightening up there. Also want to focus on the bottle, and we'll just brighten it up a little bit. I'm pretty happy with that. Didn't really need to do a lot with the photo. I think that matches up pretty well with the current photos on Leaf & Pieces Instagram. Do now is you just save it up in your top left corner there, save, and what that does is that will pull it back into Lightroom. So it'll be the same photo with your Photoshop adjustments and your Lightroom adjustments, and then just your Lightroom adjustments. So you can kind of compare it as well. You know, you can kind of see what you've done in Photoshop and what you've done in Lightroom. So what I usually do as well, I usually give another layer of contrast. Pretty happy with that. You know, it was a quick edit. It doesn't have to be absolutely sort of perfect. That was the original. You can see how super underexposed it is. Very dark, but you've obviously captured all that detail in highlights because you've shot it underexposed. That's the image there. So a bit of a color pop, which is basically what I wanted to achieve here with this photo, before and after. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll shoot this across now to Leaf & Piece, see what they think. If they're happy with it, I'll carry on editing the photos and maintain that saturated color pop style in the photos. So yeah, there you go guys, that was just a quick run through. Oh, and look what has just pulled up. Awesome, thanks a lot for that. Yeah. Alright mate. Oh. Let's see what has arrived. Yeah. Absolutely love getting goodies in the mail. So, new Manfrotto tripod, Sony 12-24 wide angle lens, and a 64 gig 300 megabyte per second SanDisk memory card. Nice. I cannot wait to try this lens out later. Let's have a look at it. They always come in these really nice cases like these ones. I never use them, but they're nice to have, you know, if you're traveling and you want to restore them. Super wide angle, 12-24. Comes with a hood cap. This is built into it. I guess they need to have that on because it's super wide angle. Sony Gmaster, you got your autofocus, your manual focus. E-mount, which will go into the Sony A7riii that I've got. And you've got a nice bubble here where the lens comes out. I wonder if you can get an ND filter on this. But anyway, that's the lens. Cannot wait to try that out later. We'll head out tonight and we'll shoot with it. Oh, look at this. Oh wow, how compact is that? That is so tiny. It looks like a golf club. It is super light. It folds out like that. Oh shit, I got this one. It is so, I can't get over how light this is. The carbon fiber is just incredible. So I'm gonna pop this lens on now and give it a whirl, see how we go. How good is that? Super wide, and it's super light as well. This would be so perfect to vlog on. Carrying that 24-70, holding it up and trying to vlog, it's so heavy. This is great. So this is the lens that I'm currently shooting on. Gmaster 24-70. Amazing lens, like that is a phenomenal lens, but it's just not ideal to vlog on. We're vlogging with the wide angle, it's great. Finally, we can leave the house. Actually, I need to get a shower first. Let me get a shower first and then we can leave the house. Leave you guys there. Whew, that feels good. Showered and ready to go. I'm going to take you guys up to my favourite spot in Bondi. It's up by the golf course, just behind, right on the edge of the water. Absolutely beautiful place to spend the sunset. So I've got my drone in the bag, I've got my tripod. So let's go. Alright, so the sunset's in 32 minutes. It's got a bit of time, it's only another 5 minutes or so uphill. It's just up on the top of that hill there. The reason I love this spot so much is because it's only like a 10-15 minute walk from the beach, and you come up, you walk through the golf course, get to the other side of the golf course, and there's never anybody there, which is the best part about it. You have it all to yourself. The rocks all exposed and open, looking right into the ocean. So if you're ever in Bondi, you should definitely check it out up the golf course. If you're not sure where it is, just look for that tower. If you're at Bondi Beach, it looks like a chimney sticking up from the golf course. Just walk to it. This is the spot, so I'm going to set the drone up over here and then we'll flat out and flat down over Bondi Beach. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to the vlog today. Oh, that is such a steep drop. So nice to get back vlogging, just to get out with the camera, you know. It was so nice having my new camera lens arrive today. I totally forgot that was happening. So yeah, this is day one of the daily vlog. I'm going to try and do it every day. Bree's coming down tomorrow. So we're heading to Uluru, the red centre of Australia. So Ayers Rock, Uluru, Alice Springs. We're going there on Friday. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. You know what to do. If you did like the video, if you do like the content, and you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment, share, all of the above. Guys, thank you again. Good night.